Welcome back, guys. Hope you all are doing well, and welcome to another video. We're kind of just going to be discussing a little bit of a new topic, but one that I will be doing a regular series on the channel, and that is the power of indie animation, and particularly two examples of shows that I've seen recently. Recent examples being of series that I've seen on YouTube and ones that you guys have probably been very familiar with, but the ones that I particularly have come to enjoy are two series that recently are new but have been done by well-established studios. One that's very well known and extremely popular and is the most recent episode of Helluva, and then the other episode we will be also using as an example for today's topic is, of course, the Amazing Digital Circus. Now, the example with these two particular shows that I've come to really enjoy and admire is just the level of depth and also just the unique levels of humanization that they put into these animated characters. Kind of tying back to that, the recent Helluva episode, much different audience, a mature adult audience, but one thing I liked about the most recent episode of Helluva was the just absolute full circle that we got to see with the two characters. Now, I will give a huge warning here. There are some spoilers. What I will try to do is much spoilers, but I can't really explain the impact of this particular episode without giving spoilers. So for fans who have not seen this episode, click away, watch the series, and then the episode, and then come back. For those who have already watched, just giving the warning now. But anyways, this particular episode really did a great job coming full circle with Blizzard's and Stolas's breakup. Really showed a huge change in that kind of dynamic of Blitz really understanding the hurt and pain that he's caused with his past relationships and realizing that he actually is valued, but because he feels like he's a despicable, impudent imp head, he doesn't feel like he really impacts those. He just kind of dates people and then it stops working out, or he just leaves them and treats them like shit, and that's it. And he thinks that they just, move on and don't care about him. So in this one, he's like trying to convince Stolas, like, hey, we can like work it out. Like, that was shitty the way you put that with me. Let's just, bang and just get, go back to the way things were. And Stolas is reading to Blitz how, it's just too much. They can't. It's like too much pain for him. Like he said, we can't. I've really grown feelings for you, and we can't just go back to the way it was. It hurts too much. And you just need to leave me alone because it's causing me more pain. And so he gets invited by Blitz's ex to a party for people that Blitz has, broken up with. And it just kind of goes on this where, Blitz basically goes undercover. He kind of spies. We can see, Stolas kind of going through his heartbreak period and getting drunk and, just trying to, basically go through what everyone goes through with breakups, that kind of mourning period, as you will. But I love just seeing how, especially in a moment, particularly in this episode, when Blitz is talking to a character we've seen before. I forget her name, Roxy or something. I can't remember her name at the top of my head, but she was one of the first characters we saw introduced, which was Blitz's ex, and she talks about, it was shitty, but when you broke up with me, it really hurt me, and it caused a lot of pain, and, look at this. We literally threw a party because of people that actually cared about you, people that actually were affected by you treating them like shit and breaking up with them.
Shitty mistake of saying I love... It was the most embarrassing feeling to be vulnerable for once, and you really just know how to send a message. And
clearly he had some kind of impact on these huge amount of people he's dated, and he starts to realize that was Stolas. And it's just overall well done. But again, this show like this really indicates why I love indie animation so much. They are not afraid to really push the bars with stuff like this, and especially a show that has such a great representation of gay and queer characters and relationships, and doing the pitfalls of abuse and using and just casual hookups with no true meaningful impacts in them. It really just does such a great job. And this episode just comes so full circle with Stolas and Blitz's kind of, relationship ending and just showing the full repercussions of that. And it's super nice to see. It really makes me, especially someone, feel much more able to connect with the characters, because we see these characters who both have had very bad traumatic backgrounds in childhoods. Stolas, who has never felt loved, had an abusive father, has a horrible abusive wife, and a daughter that he's trying to have a relationship with, but he's never truly felt loved back until Blitz. The way Blitz saw it was just a sexual contractual relationship where he just thought it was, Stolas on that way physically and nothing more. And the only reason they kept up with it was so he could keep using his grimoire. But he didn't realize that he actually was developing feelings for him until he realized from the party and talking to his ex-girlfriend how much of an impact he has on people, and that he actually does have value. And that kind of goes into my next example, which is the second episode, The Amazing Digital Circus. Now, the Amazing Digital Circus, just for a rundown, is a show done by Glitch Studios, which does a lot of different animated shows. They have a couple other ones that they work on, one of their most popular ones being Killer Bots. The Amazing Digital Circus, of course, is one of their more viral recent hits, which their first episode they released last year gained over 256 million within a couple months of it airing, and then their most recent episode just went up into 100 million views within the first month of it being released. Now, specifically why the Digital Circus caught my eye was a whole unique concept of being trapped inside a virtual world and just not having any sense of escape. And the show kind of goes into some of the psychological aspects of NPCs being stuck in a world that you can't go through, going manically insane, from just, the sheer horror of being stuck in this world that you can't get out of. And eventually the characters do reach, I can't remember exactly what they call it when they happen, but it's like they glitch. And then they become like these ferocious monsters that just wreak havoc on the player base, and they get thrown in this underground area. So the second episode basically follows Pomni and her ragtag friends along with the captain or god of the world. And basically he puts them on a new mission, as the episodes I'm assuming from this are going to be them going on different adventures to different lands that are throughout the virtual Digital Circus world. And this one, they get stuck into a magical kingdom where they have to basically regain a stolen vehicle from a bandits, gator bandits. So they basically do that. They go off and try to capture them, and eventually some things go wrong where Pomni ends up getting captured on the other side of the bandits truck, and they end up going over a cliff, and then the other fans end up getting stuck with a giant gloop monster, which now they have to deal with. Again, you're listening to this, you're probably like, what the hell are you describing? Watch the episode and then you'll know what I'm talking about. What I specifically want to talk about with this episode is when Pomni gets stuck with one of the characters. Let me quickly check their name so I can reference this properly. Gummy Goo. So Gummy Goo is a new character that we get, and he's the Gummy Gators, who they're part of a ragtag team. Him and Poppy, basically, he gets separated from his main crew. They get stuck in this almost computer-esque underground canyon area, which is just, there's nothing around except some NPCs, and they're just kind of in the T-pose. And the Gummy Goo goes up to one of them, and he's like, wait, that's me, and that's my crew. Why are we down here? And he kind of has this realization of am I just an NPC? Am I just a copy? Was I not born? Did I not have a mother? And he kind of has this existential crisis. And then Pomni kind of tries to comfort him and let her know, I was just a human and I'm stuck down here. But even I sometimes don't even realize and understand where I come from. But she said, you are still you, and you are still here right now, and your friends need you. And whatever this is or whatnot, it has no bearing on who you are as, yourself. And it kind of goes into sort of the psychological of do NPCs have feelings or emotions, or do they ever think where do we come from? Why, what is our purpose here? And that's kind of the underlying, so that Pomni realizes is that this is kind of where I'm stuck at, but there is a way that maybe I can make a difference with these characters, and maybe they are NPCs, but
people there are interesting, at the very least. Maybe you could be somebody real there.
Why are you trying to cheer me up? How does this benefit you at all?
I guess I just don't want you to feel like you're nothing. I don't want anybody to feel like that.
But I'm not even a real person. Would I even belong?
I'm sure you wouldn't belong any less than me. And I could use a friend.
A friend? You're a strange little character.
And you sort of have value. And eventually they get out of the place. They end up using their heads together, getting launched back up. They end up saving the kingdom, no thanks to Jax, who ends up stealing the kingdom's key, causing havoc on the Candy Kingdom. And, there's obviously some fan theories going online, like how the characters individually, because essentially in this world, Digital Circus, the characters are trying to keep themselves from not going insane, so they become glitches in the system, and they basically get thrown into the dungeon and no longer can, they just become inseparable creatures. That's what happened to Kafumu. And then, of course, Kane's has sent Kafumu to the cellar yet, and we don't know much about other than that. Yeah, overall, the show's interesting. It is hard to know where it will be going from here, but from what I've seen of it, I like the overall skill level of humor it has. It definitely has more adult, less dialogue to it.
An entire kingdom of candy sounds sticky.
Very sticky indeed.
Sounds
Bubble, you can't say that.
I like the design of it. It's very visually well done, especially for such a small team and one animator who's doing all the animations for these characters. But I just like that these shows go into more depth, especially, we never really think about, the worlds that we visit, virtual reality worlds, or what it would be like to be stuck as an NPC and not be able to get out and just losing your sanity because you're trying to escape. Sort of coming into, but even these characters, and I think that's what maybe causes some of the characters to have existential crisis and lose their sanity, become abstracted, because they're like, what's even real anymore? Am I even still human? What part of this, the reality becomes twisted? And it's interesting to know what Kane's overall goal of the Digital Circus is, well, because there's clearly stuff he's hiding, and it seems like he's either being deaf about it or unintentionally causing harm to his to the Digital Circus members. But it's clear that he's hiding something, and I'll be curious to see how the rest of it goes. Of course, the sidekick Bubble, which has one of the most funny lines at the beginning of the show. It's overall a good time. But again, indie animation, really, I just have such a more high respect for it now, and I really love seeing shows like this pop off without a big ass budget team like Pixar, or a backing and marketing of these shows. And look at how many views they've done. And in my opinion, these two shows have much better character design, quality of writing, dialogue, voice acting than even what I saw from Inside Out. Anyways, that's going to do it for me today, guys. Let me know your thoughts on the Amazing Digital Circus episode 2 or the most recent Helluva Boss episode. What other indie or animation shows do you enjoy? Feel free to share in the comments, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.